Morning.
Here we are at the VPMA Spivs Conference 2015, Celtic Manor. How are you this morning?
Feeling a little delicate, but it's all fine. It's good.
Thank you for taking some time just to very briefly explain to us how you use the index calls that you receive in the practice. What do you do with them as a team, and how do you make that improve your business?
Okay, so we have calls for the 3 different branches that we've got, 2 small animal and an equine. So the calls get emailed back to us. I will maybe have a quick listen to some of them and then forward them on to their heads of department, so line manager, head receptionist, branch manager and equine manager. They will obviously listen to them and then do the call evaluation sheet with that staff member. So it's very much that the staff member sort of is sort of self-critical of what their call was like. So we don't want it to be a case where people are, you did this wrong. We want them to explore that themselves and come to their own conclusions about their call, which seems to help and be a much less sort of invasive way of training them and coaching them.
The key there is the connection of the team member to their own performance, and then learning how to evaluate and reflect and learn.
Yes, yeah, very much so. We don't want them to just be there as ways to trip them up. We want them to be a positive thing, and for people not to fear when someone says, right, we need to do a call evaluation with you. You know, it needs to be a positive thing, and I think the staff were very worried about it to start off with. But I think now it's fine, and hopefully the feedback that they're getting and the way in which it's done has helped sort of give them that confidence.
Yeah. And so what your experience of there being some apprehension in the beginning because it's unusual, it's
yes.
like, ooh, what's going on?
Yes.
They've grown through that because of the way you've handled it.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, none of us like change initially, and the fact that we might be being watched or monitored in a way in which they've never had before. I think maybe some other areas of the practice, maybe vets and nurses are more used to being kind of maybe criticised and scrutinised a little bit more because of their training and what they have to do. Certainly front of house, it's it's kind of been a little bit of a free-for-all and do what you like. So actually I think they were very kind of concerned because it was just an unknown for them. So, but it's worked out okay. We've come through it.
Yeah. And from your point of view now, you have a window onto that performance. So I know that there've been a couple of things that having heard what's been said or done, you can now make good management decisions.
Yep.
Any examples that you'd like to share?
Oh, they're just too bad. There has been a couple that I've just been, oh my God. And I would just never have known that those things happened. One instance with a sort of a kennel maid that was very willing and lovely and wanted to pick up the phone and answer it, which we kind of wanted to in a way that the clients aren't being sort of just ignored. But then some of the things that she was saying were just terrible, and I just realised that we just really needed to. She'd picked up snippets that she'd heard from around the practice, and she'd put it all together, and it was just coming out as a big mess. So,
but she meant well.
She absolutely meant well, and it was perfect because we were able to say, look, this isn't how you say it. We're grateful that you're picking up the phone because quite often everyone ignores it, but just say it like this and say it like that, and that was a real opportunity because I would hate to think she was going to go on and do, carry on saying those sort of things.
So in terms of training the team, you know what they're saying, you can help, they're growing in their maturity about how they learn, they're growing their ability to receive feedback, give feedback, receive praise as well.
Yep.
So in terms of training the team, I know the team have had days on the bus, Bertha, for different reasons for different people. So your experiences of utilising Bertha in a training regime for you, how does that work for you?
It works really well for us because it's now become one of our sort of induction checkpoints that, depending on obviously the time of year and your kind of timetable, we want to get all new members of staff onto a Bertha training session within 6 to 9 months of them starting. So we've obviously done all of the staff that we've had, so we've had a couple of private days, and then the new starters that come on, if we have one or two, either reception or vets, we then book them onto the initial sort of the ticket days. Yeah. So that's, gives me some confidence that everybody has had the same message across the practice. It's very much the consistency that is key, because as we get bigger as a practice, I'm finding it harder and harder to make sure the same message gets to everybody. And actually, if I know that there's a sort of a fairly standard course that doesn't change too much, it doesn't need to, that I can send a receptionist on next month that will have been the same sort of training that the other receptionist had 6 months ago, that's winning for me, really. So it's quite an important part of their training now.
Yeah. It's very good to hear that it's seen by you then as if a new starter arrives within that sort of cycle of those coming to your area, which is every 3 to 4 months, that's something in your diary, in your head, that says they have to do this because everybody else has done it.
Yes.
That's brilliant to hear, because that's how we'd like people to kind of think about it, is get a base level and then say, right, top up, train, polish. Remedial on occasions for some people need reminding.
Yeah.
But if it's part of your structure, your need to do any of the training interventions over time will be going down.
Yes.
Because they've got a core induction. Brilliant.
Yes, so it forms part of our training matrix now. So, they have their, you must know about, vaccinations, you must know about, flea control or whatever. And now just Bertha becomes one of those training criteria. So.
Bertha will be pleased to hear that. Thank you, Rebekka. It's so kind for you to take some time out of what is a very busy day.
You're very welcome.
A very busy morning, far too early after the night before. So thank you, I enjoyed the rest of the call.
Thank you.